Bonjour! Bonjour!
No.
Time for bladder check. Check.
So it's a show?
It's a lifestyle.
It's a religion.
My emotions! My emotions!
I'm still French.
Ouais, c'est pas faux.
I'm a woman, Mary. I can be as contrary as I choose.
Non, moi je crois qu'il faut que vous arrêtiez d'essayer de dire des trucs.
Hello, hi, I'm Laura. I'm gonna watch Vinland Saga Season 1, Episode 9. I just watched the Episode 8. If you want to see my reaction video about it, I'm gonna put the link into the I'm gonna put the link also for the playlist that I made for Vinland Saga, because I plan to binge watch all of Vinland Saga, so if you want to watch already my first reaction videos about it, I'm gonna put the link for the playlist. And also, if you want to be there for my entire binge watching of Vinland Saga, please subscribe to my channel and or to my Patreon if you can be interested to have these reaction videos about this anime with 4 episodes of advance, meaning with 2 weeks of advance. It's on my Patreon. But yes, you can subscribe to my channel if you're interested to follow me for Vinland Saga, and I'm really saying it like that, like think about subscribing, because you know I'm a little reactor, so clearly if you're just watching one of my videos, it doesn't mean that YouTube is gonna offer you my next reaction videos about Vinland Saga, you know, on your front page. Not at all. Like, really, I'm a little reactor and I'm not considered at all by YouTube. So clearly they don't care about me and are really hiding my videos and all of that. So if you're following on this video and you want to be there for the rest of the binge watching, it's better to subscribe, even if it's just for the time of Vinland Saga. Like, if you're really just interested by this one, it can be like that. And if you're wondering, you know, if you can't follow me on my Patreon to have that advance on the videos and to have also longer reaction part, extended or full ones for the big episodes, and like I said during the previous intro, with this anime I have the impression that all of the episodes are gonna be important. Like, for the previous episode, for sure I'm gonna put the full reaction part, and since the beginning of this anime I have the impression that I put already 4 or 5 full reaction parts, meaning only 2 or 3 extended reaction parts. No matter what, if you want these advantages, you have my Patreon. It's the best way to support me in my Patreon, but you can support me also right there on YouTube by liking, subscribing, commenting. You know, it's about numbers. For YouTube, it's really just about numbers, improving the numbers, you know, for YouTube. Me, I prefer comments because I love to read them. I read all of them. I'm liking them myself, I'm responding to you when you're telling me something, you know, one of your theories or something like that, and I want to discuss about it. So if you want, you can come on my Patreon, you can comment, you can subscribe, all of that. The last episode was pretty cool because it was a mix of a lot of different emotions. Like, I began it being so stressed about that duel between Askeladd and Thorfinn. I knew that we would have it, and in fact since the episode 4 I knew that at some point we would have that fight between these two, because for sure Thorfinn wants his revenge. So to have it, I was like, okay, one of them is gonna die, and because we're following Thorfinn's journey, it's gonna be Askeladd, but I don't want for Askeladd to die. So I was stressed about that duel, and in fact none of them died, so I was glad about it, about that conclusion. But you know, it's not because of that that I don't think that at some point Thorfinn is gonna kill Askeladd. Maybe not during a duel, but at some point I'm pretty sure that he's gonna want his revenge no matter what. He's not gonna give up on it. And even if he's growing up, even if he's gonna know about Floki, who gave that order to Askeladd, even if he's gonna understand that no one is your real enemy, even if all of that, no matter what, he's gonna want his revenge. Meaning that at some point he's gonna kill Askeladd. But for now, he's not ready, he's not strong enough, he's not trained enough, and he's also still not mature enough, you know, for his emotions. Like, he grew up physically, he grew up mentally, and I think that he's beginning to understand the thing that thors told him about no one is really your enemy and you can be the enemy of someone. Like, all of that discussion is beginning to understand things about it, but emotionally he didn't grow up at all. That's why he lost control of himself during his fight against Askeladd. That's why being so sad and upset about losing that fight, he saw his dad, you know, as a ghost, and he was himself that little kid again, because in fact he's still that kid. Emotionally he's still that kid. He's still sad and sorry that his dad died, and he still wants that revenge blindly. I almost cried during that moment, but in fact I really cried later when Thorfinn said to that slave, you know, that girl, that tale about Vinland, because he wanted to reassure her, to give her some hope and peace, like his dad did it for that slave during the episode 1. And it made me proud of Thorfinn, the fact that he could do that for this girl, and the fact that he could be like his father, that he learned from it, that he felt the emotion of that girl, that he grew up for that. It made me proud. Because just some seconds before, how he was talking to the girl, I was really not okay with it. You know, saying you're a slave, like disrespecting her with that, and considering that he's better than her, when in fact he's a little a slave also, someone who is far away from his home, someone who is forced to be with people that he doesn't want to be with, who was kidnapped by them and who is used by them. Except for the fact that you have your little swords, you know, and that you can fight. Except for that, you're a slave, Thorfinn. Sooner you're gonna understand it, better it's gonna be. Okay, they are not hurting you and all, but in a way, by not feeding you, by not considering you, they are. He lost that fight, meaning that surely he continued after that to follow askeladd and his guys, meaning that he's gonna be there for that fight, that big fight in London, with all of these people being at the same place. We saw that this king gathered a lot of people, a lot of soldiers, but also we talked about Ragnar, Knut, Harald, all of them. We have Floki also is right there, so that's gonna be cool. I hope that this entire episode is gonna be about that fight, because clearly the little animation that they made to introduce that fight was so great. I love that animation. So it's almost like I want an entire episode about this fight, because I want all of these animations. I want to be with them, you know, into a fight and all. For that, they are so good, you know, to animate fights like that. That was already the case for the introduction scene of the first episode. I loved it, you know, with Thors jumping like that from a ship to another one. We had that also, I think that it was with Thors against askeladd and his guys. And yes, they can be really good to animate fights like that. Or also against the French guys, how Thorfinn, he jumped and after that he attacked all of these guys on his own. Really, the animation can be so great during fights, so I want an entire episode about this particular fight, because it's also a big one, you know, with the bridge, with also the fort. It's a lot of different people, so it could be so cool to have an entire episode about it. We'll see if I'm gonna have it, and I'm gonna see that right now. Like I told you, if you want, you have my Patreon. On my Patreon you have 4 episodes of advance, which means 2 weeks of advance. Extended reaction part, which are already interesting because I'm not forced to cut that much and to play with opacity. And for some episodes, I'm not putting the extended reaction part, but the full reaction part. For Vinland Saga, I already put a lot of them. The majority, it's full reaction part videos, in fact. And it's the best way to support me, my Patreon, if you want and if you can. Let's go for this episode, for this fight. The entire episode? That's what I want. Thorkell? You're losing your... Eh? For the pleasure?
この手むずがさえ抑えりゃウェセックス内陸への補給船も通るしな。首脳陣注目の戦場ってわけだ。ああ、ちょいと目立ってるならここだろう。
To prove yourself.
サクってほどのもんでもないが。トロフィー、働いてもらうぜ。
あ
トルケルの首取ってこい。
あ
褒美を約束しよう。オッケーオッケー。勝てねえ勝負に向きになる。そういうところ、親父になるかね。
To have another duel? Another chance to fight him?
次の勝負がてめえの最後だ。心臓えぐり抜いて。
I know you want it and I know that one day you'll have it. I hate it.
俺の首は安くないぜ。決闘なんていくらでも受けてやろうじゃねえか。トルケルのターンは取ってこい。
Is Thorkell? I thought that at the end of the previous episode it was askeladd. No, it was Thorkell.
どうせイングランド側の大学払うとかなんとか言ってトルケルを解除するつもりなんだろう。応じるんじゃないの。さて、そいつはどうかな。うしろ、うしろよ。トルケル殿と話がしたい。
They don't seem like they want to talk. It's really a big guy with big hands.
よう、フロキか。久しぶりだな。一緒で何よりだ。イングランド王はフランクの地へ逃げ去った。これ以上の抵抗は無意味である。さればトール神の名において貴君とその部下の命および財産は保証するとのこと。軍団へお帰りください。トルケル殿、陛下もそれを望んでおられます。世の流れを見誤ってはなりません。兄君のシルバルディ様もご心配なさって長身か。そうね、ほんとこいつが弱くってさ、大都市の燃やしっこっていうな。
Yes, he's talking bad about you.
国がもうダメだね。お前らと戦った方が面白いってことさ。
He just wants a good fight. He prefers to be with the weakest.
今ならばイングランドの倍の攻撃を約束します。
Oh, you're truly afraid of him, like you're sweating?
行くぜフローキ必殺流骨砕き。
What? That's close.
外したか。それだ、いらっせよ。
You're fun.
橋脚に取り付いたぞ。
I'm really on no one's side with all of that, with everything. It's just for me about characters that I appreciate or not.
そんなこっちゃな。100年かかってもこのロンドン橋は。
Thorfinn.
来た来た。面白そうなやつが。
You can see his eyes. You know, he's not like what a kid is doing there. The eyes. You recognize the look.
これ以上近づくと食らうぞ。左に世界。よし、十分だ。飛べ。
Oh really? You're sending him?
ああいう愉快な大若者は俺が一人ずつだ。やろう。
You're tall and strong. He's fast and agile. You know, like
若いの。特攻野郎の心意気に応えてやろうじゃねえか。
you can't win against askeladd, but you're gonna win right there.
差しですね。なめやがって。
Yes.
聞いていった
Your biggest strength, you know, it's the fact that you can be so fast. Its biggest strength, it's really how big it is. Your biggest weaknesses to both of you, it's your confidence in yourself and what you can do.
やっぱり無理だったか。アシャンド、合図だぜ。おう、それじゃ退却だ。
Without Thorfinn?
あ、しまった。お前、見捨てられちゃったみたいだな。かわいそうに。頑張ったのにな。誰？死んだかな。
No.
おい。
Oh really? You just lost some fingers and you're considering him as a warrior. You know him. Everyone knows him. No. He's a warrior. He deserves better. Really, Wifi? Each episode is a big episode? Oh really? You're against him, you, since the beginning? You're gonna leave Canet in charge with Ragnar to help, okay? He's gonna be disappointed! Are you glad? He put back his shoulder. He's gonna follow you wherever you go. You're not staying in London! I want to see the end of that battle. You're gonna add him to the list of the guys that you have to kill, that you have to have your revenge on. And you can't understand that. Just so you know, I'm checking each time if we have an hidden scene. Each time, just in case. But I can't show it to you because really, YouTube is not accepting not even a second of that ending credit song. I know it, I had a lot of issues because of it. You can't understand what is so enjoyable about battle. About fighting, about killing. You can't understand the fun that they can have into that. It's a little in contradiction with the fact that he's fighting a lot since a long time now. He's getting good at it, at killing people. And I know that he doesn't love that, to be forced to kill people. He talked about it, you know, he said to Askeladd, I'm tired of killing people just to have the right at some point to kill you. And for sure what happened with that lady, it was awful for him and all. But at the same time, I had the impression that he appreciated to fight, not to kill, but to fight. So for him to say like that, what is so enjoyable with a battle, it's making me wonder, because also as a kid, as a young boy, he wanted to be a soldier, he wanted to be like his dad. Did it change, you know, since that, you know, since he understood what it meant to be a soldier, it's about to fight and to kill? Did he change his mind about that? And you know, the conclusion of this fight for Thorfinn, I'm pretty sure that for him, the conclusion is that guy, Thorkell, is so mad, I need to fight him to have my revenge on him, because right there I lost that battle, but I didn't lose the fight. I will come back to have my revenge, to fight him, to kill him. Also because Askeladd said that it's only when I'm gonna fight and kill him that I'm gonna have the right to have a new duel against him. For Thorfinn, I think that the conclusion of that meeting, you know, that fight, it was that. For me, the conclusion of that fight against Thorkell, it was not that. It was really about the fact that Thorkell, seeing Thorfinn, he didn't react like all of the other ones. All of the other ones before that, you know, seeing that Thorfinn was with these pirates, all of them, it was about this kid, why is he right there? He shouldn't be right there, he's so young and all. But no, Thorkell, seeing Thorfinn, he only recognized that look, the look of someone who wants to fight, and just that, you know, who is there to fight, who is there to kill him. And he appreciated it. For sure, Thorkell, he loves to fight, he wants to fight. Right there, that's why at the end he was mad for some of them to leave, because he wants to fight against them, and that was not a good win for him. And that's why also he joined these guys, because they are so weak that he considers that it would be an easy win to be against them. So he prefers to be with them, so the fight is not going to be that easy for him, you know. And Thorkell, fighting Thorfinn, recognized, you know, the ability of that kid, of moving that fast. He recognized that he was a warrior, he recognized that he could be clever, also what he did right there at the end, cutting his fingers like that. Okay, he played with him a moment, and that was awful. But Thorkell recognized on Thorfinn from beginning to the end of this fight a warrior and someone honorable to fight, and that he wants to fight. So for me the conclusion, it's really that. When for Thorfinn, clearly it's not that. It's making me a little sad, you know, for him that he can't see that. Again, Askeladd thought that Thorfinn died right there, and he abandoned him right there, and he was surprised to see that he was still alive. And again, Thorfinn, just to follow Askeladd, to not let him go, you know, out of his sight. Even if he was that hurt and all, he's gonna follow him. I'm a little sad because I wanted to stay in London to continue this fight and all. For sure, because Thorkell is a funny character, but also because this fight with this bridge and all could have been so interesting to continue to follow. I hope that at some point we are gonna be back with this particular fight, but first we have to fight in Wessex. Okay. All of the thing, you know, with the king, with Canute, with Ragnar, it's interesting, but it's not the main thing about this anime. It's really a narrative arc that they are creating in parallel of the big main narrative arc about Thorfinn, and they are not giving a lot of place to it, a lot of explanations about it. So it's interesting for sure, but I'm not sure that someone who never watched, for example, you know, The Last Kingdom, could be really interested and could really understand everything which is happening between all of these guys, you know. I mean by that, Ragnar, Canute, Floki and this king, and also the situation, why they are fighting, for what reason, against who. I'm not sure that the anime is giving enough explanations about all of the political aspects right there. And you know, I'm wondering also about the fact that they are not showing Knut's face, the king's face, not really. They are playing with it, and I understand that it's to give more intensity to both of these characters, but it's also to create a mystery around them. So for me, at some point, they have to use that mystery that they created around these two characters. You know, all of this tension, intensity, mystery that they are creating around these two characters, it's cool to create it. It's even better if it's for a real reason. If it's gonna be justified later because the king is in fact that guy related to someone that we already know. If it's about the fact that Knut, you know, the same. So I'm expecting something like that to happen at some point. And again, I never forgot that Thorfinn's mom was the daughter of the leader of the army, so because of that, maybe in fact Thorfinn is related to someone important right there. I didn't forget about it. And you know, Thorfinn, when he presented himself to Thorkell, Thorkell knew who was Thors. Because they all know who was Thors. He was someone important into this army. Askeladd also remembered who he was and told him that particular line about, you know, I can't remember what was the line exactly, but the line meant something like, why didn't you take the throne? Like, why didn't you become our leader? Meaning that at some point, a lot of people were respecting Thors and were expecting a lot from him. And when he abandoned, you know, the battle, his people, he abandoned them also for that. You know, it was not just a personal choice, it was also something that a lot of them could have taken against him, like, you abandoned us. We put a lot of hope on you and you abandoned us. Do you understand what I mean? That's the impression that I have, at least. Maybe I'm totally wrong with that, but really with how people are reacting when they are talking about Thors and all, it's making me think something like that. That was a cool episode. I think that for these two episodes that I watched today, I'm gonna put the 4 action part, and like I said, since the beginning, for sure I put more 4 action part than extended reaction part, but you know, each episode seems so big, with so many big stuff into it. I want to keep everything for the Patreon version. It's gonna be like that until the end, you know, of this binge watching of Vinland Saga. We'll see. And I will see that on another day, another session of binge watching, because it's all for you and for me for today, so it's all for me for now. So bye for now. Bye.
Wait a minute, Doc. Are you telling me that you built a time machine?
Hey.